one of the most efficient ways for developers to collaborate on a project and keep track of changes in their code is by using Git. In this video, I'll show you how to set up a Git repository on a shared web hosting and connect your local machine to that repository so you can push updates straight into the web root folder of your project. Let's get started. First of all, let's get some understandings here. To make Git work, you need three things. First is you need the actual Git repository. Second, you need the SSH key that will be connecting your local machine and Git repository. And third, you would need the actual Git tool installed on your machine. So let's begin. First of all, we are going to create a Git repository on a shared web hosting. Navigate to WebHostMost, log into your account, and from your client area dashboard, select your active service. I have a few of them for test. And right before I do that, I want to show you our advanced documentation that you also can use to get the information from there. We have lots of articles that you may find helpful. So once you navigate to documentation, Control K to activate search and just type Git, for example. And you see that we have this entire information in a written format, so you can use it for your convenience at any time. I will also leave all the links down in the description. Now let's get back to our client area, and from here, selecting active service, click login to direct admin. From our web control panel, let's navigate to development tools, Git. Here we have to create our first repository. Just click create repository button, and all you have to do here is just type the actual name that you want to use for this repository. Well, for instance, I will just use name test. Create repository. The repository has been created. Now let's generate SSH key that we would need to connect to your web hosting account. Let's go to security management, SSH keys. Well, as you can see, I have no keys yet. So for that, I would have to generate one. By the way, we do have a video of setting up an SSH key. However, here the process is slightly different because this SSH needs to work with Git. So I will show you a quick trick. Let's open up our terminal and we have to generate an SSH key. Type sudo su, enter your password if it would ask you to. And from here, let's type SSH keygen space -t space RSA space -b space 4096. All right, just click enter. If you already have key, I do have one because I've been playing with it, I will just override it and have no passphrases and just enter again. The key has been generated now. So next thing, we need to create a special config file that will specify the custom port for SSH. Since WebHostMost shares different port number from the basic SSH, so to create that config file, we first have to navigate to the actual folder where we want this thing to be created. Remember where the SSH is located? Inside of the SSH folder of a root user. So tilde/.ssh/enter. You can see that I already have a config file installed. I will recreate it anyways, just in case. All right, and now nano config. Inside of my config file, you already can see all the servers and ports that I have set up, and you can do exactly the same way, or you can just specify one server that you are working with. Since I have all three of them, I have my config file set up for each server. You have the host name first, and then the port number. Then again, host name, and then again, port number. You can customize this file the way you like it to. You can add multiple hosts and with different ports. So just keep in mind that this is the file that you have to use to make customizations for SSH. Now click Ctrl O, enter to save the file, and Ctrl X to exit. Now, since we have generated the file and already have this specific config file for custom port, let's get the information out of that SSH key. For that, we can use cat command id_rsa.pub. And you can see that this is the content of this file. Just copy this content and let's navigate back to our web control panel, because from there we would have to insert this key into this panel. So go to SSH keys tab and paste key. Just paste what we have just got from our local terminal. And if you would navigate to authorized keys, you will see that this is that exact SSH key that we have just generated. So we have this key already installed for this account. So the next thing, you need to install the actual Git tool on your computer. Whether you use Windows, Mac, or Linux, the process might be slightly different. For instance, I already have a project that I have built for test, and I want to show you how I will push all my updates from this project straight to the repository that we have just created. For my project, I'm using Visual Code Studio. It doesn't really matter what type of software you use, that could be whatever, as long as it's compatible with Terminal. Now, I have Terminal activated inside of my Visual Code, and since my project is a Node.js, I have a specific folder that needs to be uploaded, right? Because my project consists of multiple folders, but there is only one that I need to use. So let's go ahead and initialize Git for my project first. For that, you always have to be root user. So type sudo su, and let's navigate to that specific folder that I need to work with, which is called build. So that build folder, in my case, is the one that I want to push to the web hosting. That could be any other folder in your specific case, because again, this is just an example. So make sure that you're inside of the actual folder that you're trying to work with. And from there, let's initialize Git first. For that, type git init. Git has been initialized. Now we have to add all the files from that folder that we are going to push. For that, we type git add dot. The dot sign at the end means that I want to select all the files from that folder. Next, we have to basically commit a change. So we have to type git commit my first change, for example. Enter. Now, next thing, we need to create branch. In my case, it's called main. You can call it any other name you wish. And for that, you need to type git branch m main. In your case, it could be staging, could be test, could be whatever you like. But again, in my case, it's called main. Now we need to add our remote repository. For that, repository has its own link, and we have to grab that link directly from our web control panel. So let's get back to our web control panel real quick, and let's grab this whole URL from here. Just copy this thing, navigate back to your terminal, and from here type git remote add origin and link to that Git repository. Enter. Since we have connected our branch, we have committed changes, and we have added our Git URL, now we need to push updates to that specific branch. For that, just type git push origin main. Main is because this is the name of the branch that I have created. And again, if in this case you are going to name it somehow different, you would have to specify that exact name of the branch. Enter. That is it. Now just wait until all your files gets uploaded to the server, and then let's refresh the page to see if changes has been applied. In the meantime, I want to show you what type of website I have. Just refresh the page and you can see that this is our default page for now, because files are still getting uploaded. Once you have uploaded all your files, you would need to initialize your repository inside of the shared web hosting only once. In other words, you would have to tell your repository that you have connected your local machine and you want the server to constantly accept all the changes that you are going to push to that server. For that, we have to navigate to our web control panel, but make sure that you do that only after all the files has been uploaded. Alright, just in case, refresh the page. Now let's edit this repository. Click this plus sign, edit, and from here you will be able to see main. This is that exact name of the branch that I have created. And deploy directory. This is one of the most important things that you need to pay attention to. This is the actual link on a shared web hosting where you wish to see all the files. And for my domain that I currently have, my doc root is going to be domains/. And please note, I don't start domains with a slash. Domains starts without slash. Then slash, name of my domain, which is just for fun 6.free.webhostmost.com /public _HTML. And there are no closing trail slash at the end. Just leave it as is and click save. Now our Git repository knows where exactly all those files must go. And the very last thing you have to do is just click deploy on the server. Now files has been deployed. If I would refresh my page right now, I should be able to see my entire project that I have just uploaded. So let's have a look. Control R, we see that entire project, and yes, that is that exact documentation. I have just uploaded it for test using Git. So you can see that it could be done super easy, without any problems. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, stay tuned for more videos, and let's build more amazing projects together using WebHostMost.